So here we are with Jesse Lange. Is it Lange Vineyards?
Lange-estate-winery, yep.
Lange-estate-winery in Willamette Valley in Dundee Hills.
The Dundee Hills, the heart of Oregon wine country, the birthplace of Oregon wines, yeah.
Awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about Dundee Hills and Willamette and
yeah, the
your
North
family's
Willamette
winery?
Valley, kind of the wine industries got started here in kind of the mid-60s from David Lett and some of the old pioneering families like the Adelsheims, the Letts, Sokolblassers, Eras, Campbells, Ponzis, and my family was kind of just on the tail end of that. We got started in 1987, and my folks, Don and Wendy, moved here to make world-class Pinot Noir. So in a true cool climate, and we threw everything in a truck after a couple prior visits, sort of research visits and recon, and started our vineyard here in the Dundee Hills back then. So we have 60 acres now. Back then it was only 30 acres, and we source some of the top vineyards in the state, and we grow grapes, mostly farmers. So we sell wine just so we can pay for the farming is pretty much what we do.
Nice. And you were just telling me that you used to have the tasting room in your basement?
Yeah,
of your family's house
Mom's
here?
pretty happy that it's out of there. We had the tasting room in our basement of our house since from 87 through 99. So it's been a long time coming to have it out of there.
Yeah, and now you guys have a great winery and tasting room, and you still are on a gravel road, though.
Yes,
that was a little bit unsettling for me.
We're at the end of the gravel road. Yeah, we call the gravel road our BFD, our Bozo filtration device. So if you make it here, you pass the test, and we don't have a bunch of tours and buses just roll up. So anybody that wants to be here has to want to taste our wines and have the view and experience Oregon wine country kind of at its best. So
yeah. What can you tell us about Dundee Hills?
Well, Dundee Hills is situated in the North Willamette Valley, so it's part of 6 AVAs here in Oregon, sub-appellations of the Willamette Valley. The Dundee Hills was the first one to have that status sort of approved by the BATF after a long process, and we started that in 2005. So it's really marked by our soil type here and our microclimate, which I think all AVAs should be. And we have oxidized basalt, which is pretty cool. The Dundee Hills is about 80% volcanic soils. You can kind of see some of the iron-rich soil here. This oxidizing, fragmenting basalt.
Hopefully you don't get stung by that really large bee that just went by.
Bald-headed hornet. Yeah, you don't want to mess with those. But yeah, and then our soil type here, we're non-irrigated. We're all sustainably farmed here. Oregon's kind of been on the forefront of that, and yeah, we're all live, sustainable, certified farming and low yields and high elevation sloped vineyard sites and great clones of Pinot Noir.
Yeah, and so when you look down over here in the valley, we see, which town is that?
That's Newburgh.
Newburgh, right.
Yeah. The Burg of New. You're looking pretty much due east right now.
Okay.
So our vineyards are southeast facing, which is the best exposure for vineyards, especially in the fall when we're getting kind of the lower arc of the sun. It's really important. And you're looking now about south.
Newburgh.
Through our old block of the state.
Newburgh?
That's Dundee over there.
Dundee.
Yeah.
I'll get it right eventually.
It's all good.
Cool. And last question, how would you characterize the wines of Dundee?
The wines in Oregon, I think, you have to match the varietal to the place. There's no substitute for that. And then you got to grow the grapes on the best vineyards within that region. And so I think the wines here in Oregon and the Dundee Hills are characterized by their balanced structure, texture, and sort of fruit components. The wines are very complex, very lush, beautifully tiered wines, lots of flavor, but they also have the requisite structure to be paired well with foods for ageability. And I find a real textural component, a real succulent sort of sexy texture with the wines from the Dundee Hills and from the North Willamette Valley.
Cool, that sounds good. Thanks so much.
Cheers.